creator and channel of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. I would have said publisher too, but I just recently got signed with Satyama Publishing. Karen Stuth over there, who owns Satyama, who founded it and still owns it, is the most amazing woman, and I thank her so very much for having the faith in me and the Arc. And since I was told that I need to market more, not by her, but actually by a lot of other people, I'm really kind of uncomfortable with marketing. If you haven't checked out the Animal Oracle and Tarot deck, it is a 100-card deck, and you don't have to know anything about tarot to love it, to use it, to get great benefit out of it. You can just be into shamanic things. You can just be into oracle cards, because it's a deck that does it all. You can do straight up tarot readings. You can only work with the animal guides, and 100 cards, 100 different animals. And there are expansion packs that would actually that would actually give you 149 cards. It's the most 149 animals. It's the most comprehensive animal deck on the market. There isn't anything like it. And the book that it comes with is, if I do say so myself, I don't know another tarot or oracle deck at all that comes with a 372-page full color book with both the tarot meaning of, hilarious, I turned to Kat. All of my friends are going to be like, of course you did. So it comes with the tarot meaning and also comes with the oracle meaning, or the spirit animal meaning of that animal. So, okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you. So, how to find your spirit animal is one of the most asked questions that I get. And it sounds like, well, just tell them, okay, you meditate, you journal, you do this, you do that, you pray, you say your mantras, you whatever. Okay, and all of that may be true, or you just look for signs that are coming to you from the world of spirit, and all of that may be true, but normally it's not quite that straightforward, meaning, not all of us trust immediately in the messages that we get. We think we believe, but then we don't really believe, or we question it 1,000 times over before we believe, if we ever do really believe. We might judge whatever animal comes to us, and then a lot of us don't really know what a spirit animal is. We don't have a clear intention, or we haven't set a clear intention when we go out foraying into the world of energy to connect with our animal allies. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to follow the guide that I have on my website, whatismyspiritanimal.com. If you're looking for spirit, totem, or power animal information, you've probably come across it. Thank goodness we do very well in the search engines, and we come up for a lot of different animals and different things about spirit, totem, and power animals. So it's an in-depth guide, and I'm going to tell you up front, my videos tend to be, half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, because I am a teacher. I've been teaching for many, many years, and the greatest, most beautiful spiritual awakening and spiritual development that I've ever seen happen to people is when they really take their time and they're mindful of the information that's coming to them, and they really will do the exercises from lots of different teachers, lots of different mentors, or people they follow, whatever you want to call them. It's like, I love the Arc Animal Tarot. Of course, it's my favorite animal deck, but there are some really beautiful animal decks out there, and two that are just being published now, Oak, Ash, and Thorn, and then MJ Culhane has a couple of, she's got the Crow Tarot, and she's got a new one coming out that's the Shadow Animal Tarot. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. So, I always recommend that people get as many tools as they think they need to work with, because sometimes, I wake up and I'm just like, I think I want to pull a card today, and I might pull a card from somebody else's animal, or, oracle, or I might pull from, I don't know, I have too many tarot and oracle decks. I won't tell you how many. It's a little embarrassing. My face is turning red, I'm sure. So we'll move on. But anyway, so this will take a little bit of time, and we're going to jump right in. So let's talk first about really what is a spirit animal. Okay. So, lots of different cultures have lots of different ways of explaining spirit, totem, and power animals. And several years back, the Animal Kingdom downloaded into me, because I had so many people asking me the difference in the terms and what does this really mean. And I was like, okay, you guys, I said, the animals, you've got to give me a more clear, better organized way of helping all you wild ones. So they downloaded the information into me that, okay, for the purposes of finding the support you need, getting the insight that you need, the healing that you need, let's call that spirit animal work. And so spirit animals can come to you, and I have a video on this. You can see the link here. We'll put the link here, and you can read the article on my site. The link will also come in here. A spirit animal is the animal that comes to you when you ask it to come to you, or they come to you, because you can have more than one. Or sometimes you don't even know that you need a particular animal, but all of a sudden you'll see this animal showing up everywhere in your life. For me, it happens with clients all the time, unless a client specifically, because I'm a reader and have been a reader for, I don't know, years. And I always, ask if they want to know their spirit animal that's coming to me, or their power animal or totem animal. And some people don't care. And some people do want to know that. So more often than not, I find that the right animal that they need at the time will show up. Like I just did a reading, I don't know, a few days ago. And before I got on the call, all I could see were these long, tall, elegant birds, especially the ones with the long necks. And I was like, okay, is this a message for my client, or is this like a message for me that yes, because of my age and, in my heredity, is it time to get a little nip tuck, when everything opens back up after the pandemic? I call it the pandemic. Damn it. It's been something, this whole thing. So anyway, but no, it was for her because I kept seeing flamingos and, the dancing cranes that do these just intricate, gorgeous dances. They're so amazing. Storks and lots of different kinds of cranes. And then I was taken to emu and ostrich, and I was told no by the animal spirit world. This is about elegance and everything that comes through the throat chakra. And lo and behold, this woman has a fixation on birds, all kinds of birds. So she was really pleasantly surprised to hear about the cranes and the flamingos and whatever. And of course, she's having a throat chakra block, and it's a whole long story. But at that moment, what needed to happen was that her birds needed to show up to support her. And they worked through my channel to be able to give her the information and what she needed at that moment. Now, for some people, the spirit animal thing is, they go deep into a meditation. They write out their intentions. They verbalize their intentions. They might journal. There's a million different ways to put your intention out there and ask for the animal kingdom to come to you, right? Okay. So that's a spirit animal. Now, how to find your spirit animal? Well, like we've just talked about, there are a number of different ways to do that. Some people even, I know people that even set an intention that whatever animal they need to hear from, when they turn on the radio, like their Sirius or Pandora or just the regular radio, the first song that comes on that mentions an animal of any kind, that's their spirit animal for that moment. So, that said, okay, that's fairly simple, right? We now know what a spirit animal is, but why do you want to find your spirit animal? So before I start going into something more in depth, I always ask people to examine their intentions. And when you believe in spirit, totem, and power animals, and particularly in this, for instance, a spirit animal, when you deeply, truly believe, radical changes can happen. Now, those radical changes will always be for the good, always. But, sometimes, like the Tower card in tarot, everything has to break down and fall apart before it can get better. Now, I know that sucks. Believe me, I have a life too. Yes, I'm a metaphysical teacher. And yes, I'm a metaphysical practitioner. And yes, I'm a shamanic practitioner. And I'm a journeyer. Blah, la, 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 la. Like 9,000, terms mean what I do, right? Okay. And probably what a bunch of you do and what a gajillion other people do. But we live life too. And believe me, sometimes we make choices and we do things that ain't so enlightened. And they get us in the biggest trouble. And then we've got to untangle the mess, right? So, believe me, there probably isn't a mistake that you've made that I haven't made in my life. Literally, like only a couple handfuls of these choices, right? And these mistakes. So that's why I can say through personal experience and also from working with, oh my God, I've probably read for easily 30,000 people by now. Easily. I've been doing it for so long. You got to be sure why you want your spirit animal to show up for you. So case in point, let's say that you just cannot figure out why you cannot so far, have not been able to so far, find a mate that is loyal to you, whatever loyalty means to you. And you go into a deep journey or meditation and you ask for enlightenment to come to you, for your animal ally that can help you figure out why this keeps happening in your life. Now, consciously we know, okay, well, maybe there's some programming that you had from childhood that keeps you sending out the energetic imprint of attracting disloyal people. Why is that? Is that because at many levels you're not really loyal yourself? Is that because the programming was from something that happened in your earlier childhood? Did you bring that in from a past life or lives where you were betrayed in some way or many ways? It could be all kinds of things, right? But if you're not willing to take a good hard look at it and consider some of those possibilities, you're not ready to find your spirit animal. And at that point, maybe the right spirit animal doesn't come to you, or your interpretation of what it means. So for instance, you're in this journey or you're in this meditation and you see an injured dog come up. Well, that's really unsettling, right? No one wants to see an injured animal at any time, but we certainly don't want to see, an animal that has something wrong with it while we're in this deeply spiritual space. But that's called shadow work, right? It also sucks. Believe me, I know. Triple Scorpio, I know from shadow work, people. Yes, I do. So, but what does that mean? What does it mean? What kind of dog was it? What color was the dog? What time of day was it? Was it morning? Was it noon? Was it in the evening, at night? Do you happen to know what direction the dog was facing? Could the dog talk to you? Were you having a verbal conversation with a dog? Were you having a telepathic conversation with a dog? These are a lot of things to consider when you go hunting for your spirit animal. So there's no right or wrong way. There's no one way. There's no formula at all. That also sucks. Yes, I know that. Sometimes the messages are wham, so straightforward. You know that you know that you know that you know. Excellent. Sometimes they take a little bit of deciphering, which goes back to the direction, the time of day. What season of the year was it? Was it in the winter time, when everything is at rest and going through a death of some kind so that it can rebirth in the spring? Was it summertime when it's, hotter than blue blazes in most places in the world during whatever months your summer is in? All of these things to take into consideration. And sometimes it's just as simple as the animal. Sometimes it's not just as simple as what you read in a book or what you read on a website about the meaning, the spiritual meaning of an animal or the symbolism of an animal, because what an animal means in Japan may not be what an animal means to the Native American culture. And let me just say, because I'm going to say this in every single video until everybody all over the world hears this, spirit, totem, and power animals do not belong, they are not trademarked by the Native American culture. That's the culture that most people identify them with, but that's due to lack of study, lack of knowledge, lack of looking at other cultures. And that's also the animal kingdom wanted me to let you guys know that spirit, totem, and power animals belong to everyone. And animal myth and animal legend is told through every culture from the beginning of time, right? Okay, so I'm going to move on and get off my little soapbox right there. But know that it's not just the Native American culture. So it's not just about what you read. It's not just about what you see in videos. It's what does that animal make you feel? What does that animal mean to you at that moment? So I have a video also. I'll put the link here. And I had a near-death experience in October of 2019. And it was a spirit animal that saved my life. No joke, it was a horse. And what that horse meant to me, having grown up in Ocala, Florida, the horse capital of the world. Okay, no joke, the horse capital of the world. Having been on umpteen horses in my life, on umpteen horse farms, like I know horses, you guys. And I love them. They're not my favorite animal, but I love them. I love all animals. Kind of all animals are my favorite. But you know what I'm saying. I'm a bear person. We love bears. So that's the collective we, all the voices in my head. We love bears. So what that animal meant to me during that whole process of almost dying and then actually getting to live by minutes, got to live still in this world, is different than what a horse is going to mean to you, especially if you're a horse person, especially if you have a miniature horse come to you, or an Appaloosa, or a Clydesdale, or a thoroughbred, or a. So just take that in mind when you're thinking about how to find your spirit animal. Okay. When those messages come to you, it's going to be time for you to decide, are you going to accept and integrate those messages into your life? Only you're going to know that. Change is hard, you guys. Believe me, change is hard. I have watched clients, I've watched myself know that your life would be so much better. You would be so much happier. You'd be so much healthier, mind, body, spirit healthier, if you would just change X. You know what? I had 2 extra peanut butter cookies last night. I knew I didn't need to have that extra sugar. I knew I didn't need to have that extra white flour. Especially since I was sick and all my autoimmune stuff flared up for the first time in my life. I know good and damn well I was. But y'all, I made those peanut butter cookies. And Southern women, we make the best peanut butter cookies. Second only to our mac and cheese and our collards and, So change is hard. But when your animal or animals come to you, they will never leave you. They will see you through the whole process. They will stay by your side until you no longer need them. And they will remain the truest allies you may have ever had in your life. Now, that said, you can ask for a spirit animal. You can find a spirit animal for anything. Nothing is too personal and nothing is too trivial. You want to be a better singer? Ask for a spirit animal or spirit animals. You want to have a better sex life? Yes, sex. Ask the spirit animals. You want to know why you don't have a great sex life? Ask your spirit animals. Do you want to know how to have the courage to start your own business? Do you want to know how to have the intestinal fortitude to do whatever? Do you want to have the strength to keep your mouth shut? Do you know how many times I've asked my spirit animals to help me keep my yap shut? Oh my God, I've got a herd of animals that follow behind me saying, keep it shut, don't you say that. Yeah, they're like always in my ear, right? So truly, you want to have a baby and you haven't been able to get pregnant? Ask your spirit animal guides. Do you? What do you want? Be clear though about what you want and why you want it. Because the spirit animals won't second guess you. They're simply going to show up and they're going to they're going to present in the way that you're going to need them. Now, sometimes you may not want to know that. You may not want to know that to have the courage to start your own business, you're going to have to leave the schmuck who keeps telling you, or you're going to have to tell your family and friends who keep telling you you can't do that. Do you know how many businesses fail? That's a dumb business to do. Do you know how many people want to open their own barbershop, bakery? They want to be a tarot reader or singer or dancer or actor or scientist or whatever. Okay, yes, lots of people do that. But if you truly want to be some of those things, the spirit animal or animals that come to you may be a sign it's time to start setting boundaries, whatever those boundaries mean to you, so that you can pursue what it is that you're called to do. You can fulfill your sacred contract. So you might find your whole life transforming, and that can be uncomfortable because it's, it can feel like the earth is shaking under your feet, because it is. And you'll find that anything that no longer serves your purpose, it just starts to fall away, like the fall leaves. Eventually they fall because it's winter and they've got to move along so that new, brighter, better, stronger, bigger leaves can come out next year. Okay. So that said, we've already covered how spirit animals work. We've already covered why you might want to find a spirit animal. And then you might wonder, how does my spirit animal find me? I have asked this question to the spirit animal world 1,000 times, because here's what I don't know. I can't tell you for sure because I don't know. I'll tell you my opinion in a minute, but I'm going to present a scenario to you. So I'm in a meditation, you're in a meditation, and a particular animal comes to you. So is that animal representative of that species at large? Or is that like Bruce or Sally or, Joe, Joe the rhino? Is it Joe the rhino, or is that just rhinos at large? Is it, Sally the salamander? Or is it salamanders at large? I think it's a blend. My experience, personal experience, and then working with the students that I've worked with, sometimes you come away thinking, I've met that animal before. I know that animal. And that can seem strange if it's, say, a shark. But I bring up a shark because since I was a kid, I love the water. How do I love the water? How do I not love what's under the water? I wouldn't even go into a 12-inch blue plastic from Sears and Roebuck Company play pool when I was a kid and no one would believe me. They thought I was just, I don't know what they thought was happening to me, but I could literally see the bottom of the pool opening up and a giant shark's mouth coming up to get me. Now, I didn't know anything about past lives and metaphysics at 9 years old, and it was decades before I did. I was in my 20s, right? But I did a past life regression one time, and I almost punched the person that was bringing me through it, because I was going through the experience of having been in a war and been on a battleship and in the water, and I got ate by a shark. That I know that is a past life experience for me. Who does that happen to? But at least I didn't, come saying I was Queen Elizabeth or anything like that, because everybody does. That's a subject for another video. I was just a plain old battalion, guy in just plain old army greens or whatever you wear on a ship, and we went down and that was it. I was gone. And I know that was a particular shark. Now, I didn't catch the shark's name before he ate me or she ate me, but I believe that based on what I was meditating on, which was fear, and it was a time of great fear in my life, and not only did I need to face that fear, but I needed to be an apex predator. I needed to fight back metaphorically. And so, I mean, nobody could have been as shocked as I was when that shark showed up, and I came up out of that meditation swinging. No joke, man. It scared everybody, me and the practitioner that was facilitating it. Anyway, you may have some other kind of animal come to you where you don't feel that kind of personal I've met you before connection. You don't necessarily feel that golden thread, but you know that that animal represents that species of the animal kingdom, and that species of the animal kingdom is by your side. And you know, who knows, maybe one day they send Joe, one day they send Sally, another day they send, Giorgio, and another day they send somebody, from whatever country or speaks whatever language, which by the other thing, I love the animal kingdom, because even animals, let's say that you only speak Japanese, right? Because the Asian culture, Japanese, oh my God, are they into spirit animals? I want to go to Japan because I would be like revered as a god there. So anyway, and then, some of these kids don't speak a lick of English that are ordering the Ark, and we're using translators, we're using Babelfish to communicate back and forth. It's the coolest thing ever. But so let's say that they connect with a kangaroo. So there are no kangaroos in Japan, other than if they're in the dreaded, horrible zoos or whatever sanctuary they might have over there. But that's who they connect with. Well, that kangaroo is going to be able to communicate with them in whatever language that they speak. It's the magic of the spirit world, you guys. It's the magic. I can't explain it. I just know it's true. Okay. So you may, again, I just want to keep repeating this. You may not know why you keep seeing an animal. It keeps popping up everywhere. For me right now, and for the last almost year, I keep seeing Yeti, Sasquatch, even the abominable snowman. They keep popping up in front of me, because I can't be 100% sure yet, even still a year later, why it's happening. But a really dear friend of mine and I, she loves to go on these spirit animal and totem power adventures with me. She's the one that filmed my video for Kickstarter, and all the pictures that you see so far of me with animals and whatnot, she's taken. And we were driving to Mystic Jungle in High Springs. It's an amazing animal sanctuary, just the greatest people there. And that's where we shot the Kickstarter video for the Ark. And I'm yak driving, and she busts out laughing, and I'm like, what? And she goes, did you see the sign? I'm like, no, I'm driving. She goes, there's a Sasquatch museum in Georgia. And I'm like, what? She said, there's a Bigfoot museum in Georgia. We've got to go. Because don't you have to wonder who sat around one day and said, let's open a 2,900 square foot museum about Bigfoot. That takes a special kind of person. I want to know that person. I want to be that person's friend, and I want to see all the collective information and memorabilia they have about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti. I don't disbelieve. I believe in fairies and gnomes and unicorns. I know that sounds airy-fairy, but the world we live in is not the only world there is out there, people. I hope you know that. That's a whole different subject for another time, about mythological animals as spirit, totem, and power animals, and ancient animals. We'll get to that. So the idea is, yes, that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti has been in my consciousness, because it was just, the jokes. Come on, y'all, the jokes that we said to each other for the ensuing months. And I understand if you bring something into your consciousness, energetically it starts pulling it in. But there was a few-month period where I couldn't think of anything other than trying to survive. And certainly whatever connection I had to Bigfoot or Yeti was gone. But one day I woke up, and I'm telling you, I hadn't looked up anything about it online. So don't write me and say that was a Facebook algorithm, that saw that you looked at this, or it tracked you from a different site, and the cookies from this site did this. Y'all, I'm in the internet business, okay? I get millions of visitors a month to my sites. There's a reason for that, because I know what I'm doing online, right? Like, I know all that stuff. It's what I do for a living. No. I mean, now, I'm not discounting that Facebook isn't reading our minds and, taking in everything we say vocally. I totally, who knows with that kind of technology. That's not a conversation I'll have. But I'm telling you, one day I had like 9 different Bigfoot things appear in my feed from completely different people. It was fantastic. And after the 3rd or 4th one, I even cleared my cache and my cookies and did a DNS dump just to make sure. And I purged my phone and I turned everything on and off. I wanted to see what was going on. And I'm telling you, it just kept coming. I'm like, okay, this is not a Facebook tracking thing. This is a message from Bigfoot. Still haven't figured out what it means for me. It may just be bringing me joy and laughter because, of course, there weren't any serious things about Bigfoot or Yeti. It was all memes about they were all hilarious. And so that might be it. But here's the thing. Every animal that's ever existed or ever will exist, that's my dog Hops. Hi, Hoppy. Exists inside you. And I say this in every video, and I hope that, if this is the only video that you watch, I really hope that you take this in and are okay with, like, you get it. Part of you is every animal, okay? So whatever animal, and that includes mythological animals, whatever animal shows up is going to be part of you. And that's going to be about you understanding yourself better, that component, that part, that piece, that animalistic part of you a little bit better. Okay, so all that being said, just start, paying more attention. Open your awareness to whatever animal or animals keep showing up, all right? Okay. So, methods for finding your spirit animal. Well, we've talked about this, the meditation, the journeying. You can drum. You can listen to flute music. You can listen to AC/DC, The Kiss, The Who, The Cure, Broadway tunes, classical music. I don't know, whatever strikes you, whatever speaks to you. Singing bowls, crystal bowls, whatever. We've talked about paying attention to the signs that are coming your way. The only thing we haven't talked about are dreams yet, because, wow, I could talk about that forever. So it's really important if you want your spirit animal to come to you in your dream. Now, for all of this, you must set your intention. What's the problem you're trying to solve? What's the insight you're trying to get? What's the support you need? What's the healing that you want to happen? You've got to be very clear with the animal kingdom. So once you've set that intention by speaking it, by sending it telepathically, by writing it down, putting Post-it notes all over your house, whatever, setting a timer on your phone, that you've got to do, especially before you go into the dream state, because most people, we don't control our dream state. We don't go in actively lucid dreaming or journeying. We just go to sleep and hope we don't have a night terror. But that's not to say that based on what you've asked and based on really what is the best information for you, because that's all the animal kingdom is going to come out with, is the best information for you. You might have a night terror. That sucks. I know. As a person who has had night terrors since she could dream, triple Scorpio, we go to the darkest, most underbelly of underbelly places. It's nuts. I feel for you. I feel for your pain. Really, I do. But in those scarier dreams, I've found some of the most profound wisdom. And, now you can ask not to have that. You can ask the animal kingdom to come to you differently, and they will. So it really just depends on what you're open for. If you're not a person that wants to experience anything a little scary or shocking, or you're not interested in too much information at one time, you can control that. They're not just going to rush in and, do what they want to do. They're going to work with you because they're always going to do the best thing for you. But you've got to participate in the active decision making of that. Okay. So the other thing that I'll leave you with when you're asking, well, how do I find my spirit animal? It might sound like I'm all over the place. I'm not. There's just a lot to consider when you are really, truly looking at how to find your spirit animal. Now, what I always tell people, regardless of what method or methods you choose, not one method may work the first time or second time. You may have to do a variety of different things to find your animal, or to have your animal appear to you, or for you to be able to see that animal, to be open enough to go, oh, okay, that animal is coming to me. Okay, got it. It's trying to capture my attention. I tell a story just because it's still so shocking to me about how, 7 or 8 months before my divorce, unicorns kept coming to me. And I was like, really? Really? You're going to send me unicorns? Okay. Okay. I don't know what they mean, but I don't have time in my life, in my divorced, heartbreaking, all shattering all over the place. I don't have time for freaking unicorns. And that's just what I was like until I bought a house that's sandwiched right between a neighborhood called the Forest of the Unicorn, no joke, and rainbows, no joke. Look it up. Gainesville, Florida, right off 39th Street. And then I felt so horrible. I was so apologetic to the animal spirit world. They were trying to tell me, and they were trying to support me, and I was in such a place of judgment. And I'm like, rainbows and unicorns, that's for a 9-year-old. I need something that matters. I need something that's deep. I need something that's meaningful. Really? Because unicorns and rainbows aren't meaningful? They really are. And here I sit in my beautiful house that I got the most amazing deal on. That's the perfect house for me. It was orchestrated amazingly, but I was in such a desolate place that, all I could do was come at everything with my Scorpio stingers, battleship, battle guns out, everywhere. My God, if they could have been machine guns, they would have at that time. But they kind of were, in a way. Don't write me about guns. I'm not talking about guns. We're not having a conversation about what I believe about guns. It's a metaphor. It could be an arrow. It could be a knife. It could be a Chinese star. It could be, something out of a straw. It could be a spitball out of a straw. It's metaphorical, people. Okay. So, just when how to find your spirit animal, be open, be very direct with the animal world about what you need, why you need it, and just don't do what I did in that tremendous time in my life when I needed them the most, and I rejected them. Now, they didn't care. They kept sending unicorns upon unicorns upon unicorns, and it just made me madder. And eventually I just ignored it. That doesn't mean they didn't send it. And that's my biggest thing, is that you are open, you are willing to accept. But the other thing is, wherever you're at when you ask for your spirit animal to show up to you, okay, make sure that you're in a protected space. Don't do this when you're driving along in your car or on a motorcycle or on your bicycle. Don't do that. Do it when you're in a place where you can sit and be stable. And you don't even have to be quiet. You've just got to be in a place where you can think and receive and you better recognize, girl. You got to be in a place where you can recognize, right? And the safest place for that is not in a 3,000-pound vehicle going 65 miles an hour down the interstate, or on a bicycle. So if you have any questions, I'm not drifting off, I promise. I'm trying to think, did I cover everything? Now, how to protect your space, that's a video for another time. Again, that's a little more in-depth than just, hey, show up, here it is. So, but if you have any questions about how to find your spirit animal, you're welcome to write in. You're welcome to put something in the comments below. Y'all, I try to get back to every email, and I try to answer all the comments, but I'm just one little woman in Florida talking about spirit animals, and there are just not enough hours in the day, y'all. They're just not. So please don't be offended if I don't respond to your comment or your question. It's not that I don't love you, and I absolutely know that what you want to know is very important, and it's always good information for other people to read, but I just, there are only so much hours in the day, for real. So know that I love you all, and my greatest wish for you is that your spirit is running wild and free, and always is. And if it's not, now is the time to claim your wildness. Do not let them tame you. Now is the time to start that. And if there's anything I can do to help you with that, you let a sister know, okay? All right, everybody. So I have to do this. I'm sorry. I'll get used to it, and I'll stop apologizing for it. I've got to make one more plug for the Ark, really, truly, because I believe in it so much. It's creating such magic all around the world. So get your Ark, and if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. All right, stay wild.